Flip that script. That's where the guest gets to ask the host a question. I don't know what you're going to ask.
This is a tough one.
Oh man, that still makes me laugh, that graphic. But all right, listen, we got flip that script with a twist, okay? Because Linda is my guest, but she is actually going to be leaving after flip the script to get herself powdered up, dried, because it's hot as heck in this room, right? And then come back as the host, so that's a weird thing. But hey, we're doing flip that script, and that is a spot where the host is going to take a question from the guest. Usually the host is asking the questions, but now the guests get to ask the host a question. And so my first victim doing this unscripted was Gene Rossi. So Gene Rossi, flip that script on me.
If you were doing the closing argument in the Zachary Keene case, what would be your theme?
I would get down on my knees, I would pray in a praying position, and I would say, guys, could you just do me a favor and find him guilty of something less for me as opposed to him? No, but in all seriousness, I mean, I would sit there and I would try to argue that he did not think that he had the legal responsibility, didn't know what was going on. He was taking care of the 2-year-old. Maybe he had some level of drug addiction or whatever, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was specifically failing to act on behalf of that child, or that he thought others were doing the things that they were supposed to be doing on behalf of the child. I personally, Gene, think it's a really hard case to defend, but that's where I would go with that. But thanks. And okay, Linda, Kenny Baden, now a guest, soon to be a host. But now that you're a guest, you get to flip that script on me.
And it's nothing to do with the trials we're watching. I'm taking you out of that. I'm not going to assault you. You know there was a blue sapphire wave yesterday with a lot of women, okay?
Okay.
All right? But I'm not really going to talk about that, even though I did talk about that.
Most of my office were female attorneys, May, before that wave.
Yes, okay. So anyhow, but a case near and dear to our heart because of Aaron Keller here, all right? Now, we know in where the Making of a Murderer was, okay? There's a new attorney general by the name of Josh Call, who's a Democrat, who topped Brad Schimmel. Schimmel was the one who said to the Supreme Court in Dassey that, you know, don't let him out, don't do anything. So if you are his lawyer now, do you apply for a pardon? Do you go back on another habeas motion and try to get Dassey pardoned? I'm not talking about Stephen Avery. Let's talk just about the child at that point.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't follow that case as much as everybody else has. I think I may be the only person that never watched the entire series, and I'm told to do that. But
well, then let me give you another question.
I think the question you're asking, though, is a political question. In other words, do you go to a new administration? But I think it's an important question. Do you go to a new administration and seek some sort of extrajudicial relief here because the political parties have changed? But Linda, this is no different than what's going on in the government right now with the new attorney general flipping the script, if you will, with regard to the memo that says that defendants have to plead to the most readily provable, highest level offense. In other words, politics plays a big role in the manner in which cases are prosecuted. And that prosecutorial discretion is so wide, depending on the political affiliation of people or their personal temperature or not, you can get wildly different results. So maybe that would work with Dassey.
Well, let me give you 1B to that question. And I know Aaron Keller is probably going to weigh in on this.
I'm about to say something. I'm tripping on a wire here with Aaron.
El Chapo, which fascinates me. All right, people are getting excused because they're fearful they're going to get shot by, you know, some kind of El Chapo mob. Would you serve on the jury?
Would I would. I would serve on the jury. Listen. But I have a special reason to say that. I've had police protection and people putting murder plots on me for a lot of time in my life as a prosecutor. I mean, House still surveilled, things of that nature. So, of course, would an ordinary citizen be very concerned about that? Should they be very concerned about it? Yeah. I guess the question really becomes, and I'll flip the script back to you, and maybe Gene, real quick, let me ask you a question. Should the jurors' identities be withheld from the defendant so he does not know who those jurors are?
Well, I think in this case, yes, because we have a history of El Chapo being violent. I had jurors' names held in the Phil Spector case. The defense wasn't giving him. And we argued that we should be getting him because it makes it seem like he's like a mobster of some sort, because usually that's when they withhold him.
Yeah, Gene, what do you think about that? Withholding the name, an identity, the constitutional issues as it relates to the defendant, and also, as Linda's putting out, it makes him look like a villain that's so bad that he can't even find out who you are.
I'm a firm believer that you have to do everything in your power to protect the identity of victims, witnesses, and especially jurors. I have zero problem in withholding the names and addresses precise addresses of jurors from a defendant. As long as the lawyers have it and they are told they cannot communicate it with their client, I have no problem with that.
Okay. Hey, listen, Gene, Linda, great questions for Flip That Script. I greatly appreciate it. We got some activity in court. New witness. Let's go.